A journey into the cell begins. As night blankets the sky and your body begins to relax, you find yourself drifting into a peaceful slumber. With each breath, the world around you begins to dissolve, and in its place, a new realm appears, one that exists deep within you, hidden in the smallest corners of your being. You are floating, gently, calmly. The air is still and warm, and a soft golden light bathes everything in sight. Ahead of you stands a woman in a long, flowing lab coat. Her eyes are kind, and her voice is gentle, like wind rustling through soft leaves. She smiles and speaks in a soothing tone. "Welcome," she says. "I'm Dr. Lumen, your guide through the world within, the quiet kingdom of your own cells. Tonight, we begin our journey toward understanding something extraordinary, something that gives you the energy to move, breathe, and live." She gestures to a shimmering doorway behind her, a curtain of sparkling light that seems to pulse gently. Behind this veil, she whispers, is the gateway to the cell. We'll travel into your body, not in a frightening way, but with curiosity, kindness, and wonder. Are you ready? With a nod, you follow her through the light. Instantly, the world around you changes. You are now small, so small, you can see the soft membrane of a cell floating in a pool of gentle fluid. The colors are glowing pastels, light blues, soft purples, and warm pinks. Everything is alive but silent, humming softly with a rhythm like a heartbeat. Dr. Lumen floats beside you as you both drift toward the cell. "This," she says, "is one of trillions of cells in your body. Each one is a world of its own, working gently and endlessly to keep you alive and well. The outer wall of the cell, called the membrane, looks like a delicate bubble, shimmering in the ambient light. It pulses slightly, letting small particles pass in and out, like tiny messengers with important work to do. As you pass through the membrane, the inner world of the cell opens up like a dream. Gentle waves of liquid surround you, the cytoplasm, a jelly-like fluid where everything floats softly, peacefully. Small organelles drift past you, each with its own unique structure and purpose. You'll learn more about these later, Dr. Lumen whispers. But for now, let me show you our destination. Ahead, nestled in the center of the cell, is a structure unlike any other. It pulses with a warm orange glow, and it seems to breathe, in a way, expanding and contracting, giving off a sense of calm, controlled energy. That, she says with reverence, is the mitochondrion. The word feels musical in your mind. Mitochondrion. The powerhouse of the cell. The place where energy is born, not from noise or chaos, but from a soft and quiet miracle. As you float closer, the surface of the mitochondrion becomes clearer. It is shaped like a tiny bean, with smooth outer curves and folded layers within. Like the inside of a labyrinth made of soft, glowing silk. This is where we begin, Dr. Lumen says. Where energy is made from air and food. Where life sustains itself in ways most people never imagine. And we'll go slowly. There is no rush. Just quiet discovery. She places a hand gently on your shoulder. But for now, she whispers, just rest. Let your mind wander as you breathe. The story will be here waiting, one piece at a time. You lie back in the gentle cytoplasmic current, feeling weightless, warm, and deeply relaxed. The soft pulse of the mitochondrion lulls you like a lullaby, and as your eyes close, you drift into deeper sleep, knowing this is only the beginning of the journey. Tomorrow, the secrets of the powerhouse will begin to unfold, slowly, softly, and with wonder. The heartbeat of energy. You awaken in a soft, glowing world, the quiet interior of the cell. It is as if no time has passed since you last floated beside Dr. Lumen, your gentle guide. She smiles as you stir from your dreamy stillness, her voice still as soft and slow as the breeze through tall grass. "Welcome back," she says. "Tonight, we begin to understand the magic that lives within the mitochondrion." You glance at the warm, bean-shaped structure ahead of you. It's still gently glowing, like a lantern in the fog of the cell. You float closer with Dr. Lumen by your side, watching the folds of the inner membrane ripple slightly in the cytoplasmic current. This, she whispers, is the double membrane. It is the entrance to the inner workings of the mitochondrion. She reaches forward, and together you pass through the outer membrane, which feels like a soft cloud. Inside, the world becomes even quieter. The folds, called cristae, spiral inward like the ridges of a seashell, expanding the space where the real magic happens. These folds, Dr. Lumen says as you hover beside them, increase the surface area, allowing for more room to create energy. It's an elegant solution by nature. Small but mighty. You notice the space between the membranes. It pulses with particles, tiny units carrying messages and ingredients. This space, she continues, is known as the intermembrane space. Think of it like a staging area where molecules line up, ready for transformation. You float deeper, past the folded walls, into the matrix, the very heart of the mitochondrion. It's warmer here, almost alive with a soft, golden light. The matrix is rich with enzymes, molecules, and small strands of mitochondrial DNA, which glow faintly like stars in a deep underwater sea. This place, Dr. Lumen says, is where the Krebs cycle happens. It's a complex dance of chemistry, slow, rhythmic, and beautifully balanced. Here, nutrients are broken down and transformed. Carbon atoms are reshaped. Energy is released, and molecules are prepared for the next step in the dance. And sure enough, you see it, glowing protons moving across the membrane into the intermembrane space, slowly building a shimmering tide. It's like winding up a spring, Dr. Lumen says. Each electron's passage is a pull of the string, a turn of the key. And when it's wound tight enough, then we unlock something miraculous. The electrons flow on, ever graceful, until they reach the final stop, oxygen. Dr. Lumen slows near this last point. This, she says, is why we breathe. She reaches out, and you watch an oxygen molecule, gentle, waiting, accept the last of the electrons. In that moment, a soft spark lights the space between you. A molecule of water is formed, quiet, simple, and essential. One of the oldest and most sacred transformations, Dr. Lumen says. And now, the stage is set for our grandest mechanism, the ATP synthase. Just ahead, like a tiny rotating windmill, you see it. The ATP synthase enzyme, spinning slowly. The protons that were pumped earlier begin to return. Rushing like a gentle tide back into the matrix through this rotating gate. As they move through, Dr. Lumen explains, this enzyme turns. And with every rotation, it forges something precious, ATP, the energy currency of all life. You drift close, watching the molecules form, one by one. Each pulse of movement results in a new spark, ATP released into the matrix, ready to power thoughts, heartbeats, movements, and dreams. It is quiet, she whispers. But it is everything. Every heartbeat. Every step. Every flicker of thought in your resting brain. She guides you away, slowly, and the proton tide begins to calm. The electrons complete their dance. The synthase slows its spin. All this, Dr. Lumen says, is happening in your body right now. Millions of times a second, in every cell. It's a miracle so familiar, we forget that it is miraculous. As you float back to your resting place, you feel that miracle more deeply than ever. The quiet gift of energy, flowing within. The night is soft. Your breath is steady. Let go now, she whispers. Let the mitochondria work, as they always have. Let the electrons' journey carry you to sleep. The glow dims around you. The folds grow quiet. And in that soft hum of electrons and protons, you fall deeply asleep. ATP, the energy of dreams. The gentle whisper of your breath seems to echo softly through the cell, like wind over distant hills. Everything is still, cradled in a slumber of molecular peace. But within this quiet, a rhythm continues, delicate, patient, and full of purpose. Dr. Lumen floats beside you once again, her voice soft as the moonlight. Tonight, let us follow a single spark, an ATP molecule, and see how this tiny force brings the world to life. You drift along a ribbon of glowing light. This is ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. It pulses gently in your hands, vibrating with bound energy. Dr. Lumen smiles. ATP is the universal fuel for every cell. It's what turns muscle into motion, thoughts into dreams, and food into warmth. As she speaks, you're transported inside a muscle cell. Long fibers stretch around you like ribbons of silk. You see the ATP molecule land gently on a waiting structure. It binds to myosin, a tiny motor protein. With a sudden but silent shift, the myosin head changes shape. It pulls the muscle fiber closer. Then, with the help of another ATP, it resets and does it again. Over and over, like the stroke of an oar in a peaceful lake. This, she says, is movement. Every step you take, every blink, every breath, even as you sleep, it all runs on ATP. Next, she guides you to a neuron, where signals flicker like stars. Here, ATP helps build and maintain the electrical gradient, powering the messages that flow between brain and body. You watch as it fuels tiny ion pumps, maintaining the delicate balance that lets thought happen. In your dreams, Dr. Lumen whispers, ATP is there too. Helping your brain process memories, repair itself, and imagine distant galaxies. Then you follow ATP into a liver cell, where enzymes whirl and twist. Here, it powers the enzymes that build proteins, detoxify the blood, and regulate your body's chemistry. And in every cell, she adds, ATP is the link between the food you eat and the energy you become. You pause, floating above the landscape of the mitochondria once more. The folds still pulse with soft light. The ATP synthase continues its slow, turning dance. One by one, new ATP molecules rise and drift into the body's vast system. Dr. Lumen extends her hand, and in it, you see thousands of tiny ATPs, all glowing with the promise of life. It's easy to forget how precious they are, she says. But these little sparks power your every moment. Even now, as you rest. The quiet builds again, soft and calm. You feel the presence of trillions of these molecules in your body, each one a tiny promise of life and movement, even in stillness. Tonight, Dr. Lumen says, her voice fading gently, rest in the knowledge that your body is working beautifully. Let ATP do its work. Let your cells care for you. You close your eyes, feeling the warmth of that cellular fire. The stars above you flicker. The folds of the mitochondrion sway like lullaby waves. And slowly, deeply, you drift into restful sleep. The citric acid cycle, the quiet engine. You find yourself resting beneath a soft canopy of starlight once again. Everything is still, quiet, and serene. Dr. Lumen appears, her silhouette glowing gently as she approaches with a smile. Tonight, she says softly, we travel deeper, into the very engine room of the mitochondria. She waves her hand, and you are gently pulled into a warm swirl of light and molecules. Around you, a vast, circular path appears. Glowing softly, rhythmically turning like the gears of a gentle machine. This, Dr. Lumen whispers, is the citric acid cycle. Some call it the Krebs cycle. But I like to think of it as the quiet engine of your body. You watch as a single carbon compound enters the cycle, acetyl-CoA, born from the food you eat. It joins with oxaloacetate to become citric acid, and the engine begins its rotation. Each turn of the cycle releases tiny bursts of energy. These bursts don't explode, they hum. They give off high-energy electrons, caught by special carriers called NADH and FADH2. These glowing molecules rise and drift away, their energy to be used later in the electron transport chain. The byproduct of the process, carbon dioxide, floats upward, invisible but important. It will leave the body with each peaceful breath you exhale in sleep. This cycle, Dr. Lumen continues, happens in every mitochondrion of every cell that needs energy, over and over, quietly, tirelessly. And though you never feel it, it is part of your every heartbeat, every dream, every thought. You watch as the cycle completes, only to begin again. The soft repetition is calming, like the tide or the tick of a clock you cannot hear, only feel. It is a miracle of balance, she says, this flow of carbon and energy. The citric acid cycle never rushes, never tires. It simply turns, steady, serene, and sure. Around you, the glowing landscape of the mitochondrion hums gently. The electron carriers, NADH and FADH2, glide like fireflies toward the mitochondrial membrane, where they'll release their energy to power ATP production. You don't need to remember every name, she smiles. Only that inside you, at this very moment, this perfect little cycle is spinning, keeping you alive, fueling your dreams. As you lie back, the molecules dance around you, graceful, silent, and full of purpose. The citric acid cycle hums in the background like a lullaby only your cells can hear. And now, with your body in stillness and your mind adrift in wonder, you can let go. The gentle turning of life continues. And you drift, slowly and softly, into sleep. The electron transport chain, a river of light. Tonight, the gentle sounds of your breath rise and fall like waves. In this peaceful space, Dr. Lumen joins you again, soft and luminous, her presence glowing like moonlight on calm water. We've watched energy be gathered, she says gently. Now let's witness how it is released. She reaches out, and together you drift into the heart of the mitochondrion. Ahead is a glowing, winding staircase of proteins embedded in the inner membrane, the electron transport chain. It hums softly with purpose and light. This, Dr. Lumen whispers, is where energy becomes power. This is where your body makes ATP, the tiny packets of energy that fuel every heartbeat, every thought, every dream. High-energy molecules, NADH and FADH2, arrive like tiny glowing messengers. They hand off their electrons to the chain. One by one, the electrons jump from one protein complex to the next, like stepping stones across a river of stars. As the electrons move down the chain, they release energy. That energy is used to pump protons, tiny particles, across the membrane. Slowly, patiently, the mitochondrion builds a gradient, like water behind a dam. You float alongside the electrons, watching as they dance through the proteins. The process is silent, steady. Each leap gives your body just a little more power. The electrons eventually reach the final protein complex. There, they meet oxygen, the air you breathe, and combine with protons to form water. You see it happen, molecules coming together like puzzle pieces, creating a drop of water that glistens with life. And then, like a gentle release, the stored protons rush back across the membrane through a spinning protein called ATP synthase. It turns like a water wheel, and each turn produces ATP. Energy currency for your cells. This, Dr. Lumen says, is the moment. This quiet release, it powers everything you do. You watch as countless ATP molecules form, each one a gift from the quiet, careful dance of electrons and protons. Each one a spark that lights the world within you. The entire process flows like a poem, one line at a time, one breath at a time. You lie back, wrapped in the warmth of understanding, surrounded by the beauty of your inner life. The mitochondrion hums softly, like a lullaby from within. The cycle continues, Dr. Lumen whispers. Even while you sleep, even while you dream. And with that, you do. ATP, the currency of life. The room is calm, filled with the soft hum of silence. As you settle into your pillow, the gentle sound of your breath brings you into a deeper peace. Dr. Lumen's voice returns, warm, glowing like firelight flickering on the walls of a peaceful cabin. Tonight, she says softly, let's talk about energy. Not just how it's made, but how it's spent. From within the mitochondrion, we now follow a tiny glowing molecule, ATP, short for adenosine triphosphate. It sparkles with potential, like a glowing coin in the hand of a traveler. It's not large or flashy, but it holds everything your body needs to move, think, and live. ATP is your energy currency, Dr. Lumen says gently. It pays for every action your body takes. She leads you into a quiet, golden corridor, the cytoplasm of a cell. Here, thousands of ATP molecules float gently, waiting to be used. Each one is like a tiny battery, ready to release its charge. We drift through a muscle cell. A single ATP glides to a waiting muscle fiber and, pop, a spark of energy is released, causing the fiber to contract. It's so small, so silent, yet this is the very movement that lets your heart beat, your fingers stretch, your lungs breathe. Now, Dr. Lumen whispers, let's visit a neuron. In the glowing tangle of your brain, we see ATP molecules powering the exchange of ions, tiny particles that allow thoughts to travel. One ATP molecule powers the pump that restores the balance after a signal fires. Another allows the neuron to reset, preparing for the next idea, the next memory, the next dream. We move next to a gland where ATP helps synthesize a protein, a special hormone that will travel through the bloodstream to calm you, to heal you, to help you grow. Every cell we visit uses ATP in its own way, as if each were given a small coin to spend however it needs. ATP is always being spent, Dr. Lumen explains, and always being made. Your mitochondria are constantly working, quietly, gently, to ensure that every cell has what it needs. She shows us how the mitochondria regenerate ATP, using the fuel from our food, the air we breathe, and the water we drink. It's a cycle, endlessly spinning. Spend and replenish, use and renew. Even in rest, she continues, even in dreams, your body never stops. It uses ATP to repair, to heal, to dream more vividly. You float gently above the landscape of your body, seeing tiny flashes of ATP being spent like stars winking across a nighttime sky. Each flash represents a life-sustaining moment, a thought, a breath, a heartbeat. The sound of your own breath joins with the rhythm of your inner world, slow and gentle. And in the stillness, you realize, every night you sleep, your body is still glowing with quiet work. Every beat of your heart is a whisper of ATP. Every dream is powered by this tiny, tireless molecule. You are not alone in the dark. You are radiant from within. And so, surrounded by the soft light of your inner energy, you drift further into sleep, your body gently powered by the silent miracle of life. Mitochondrial DNA, the mother's gift. In the quiet of the night, as your breath rises and falls in a peaceful rhythm, Dr. Lumen's gentle voice returns like a soft breeze brushing through leaves. Tonight, she whispers, we'll explore a mystery, one written in every cell of your body. A secret gift passed down through time. She brings us to the very core of the mitochondria, not just its inner folds or its tiny turbines, but a hidden spiral tucked within, mitochondrial DNA. Unlike the DNA found in the cell's nucleus, which holds instructions from both your mother and father, mitochondrial DNA comes only from one source, your mother. Her mother gave it to her, and she passed it to you, unchanged for thousands of years. This tiny circle of code, Dr. Lumen explains, carries the story of your maternal ancestry. It's older than memory and wiser than we know. We float through generations of women, stretching back in time. Each of them carried this same strand of mitochondrial DNA, like a thread in an eternal tapestry. Across continents and centuries, the line continues unbroken. Even now, she continues, your cells hum with this inherited energy. A quiet legacy, quietly working. We peer into the spiral structure, tiny but mighty. It encodes only 37 genes, yet those few genes are essential. They control the making of enzymes, the the very tools your mitochondria use to produce energy. Each gene is like a recipe, passed down perfectly over eons. One codes for a key enzyme. Another for a transfer molecule. Together, they form a chorus, keeping the cell alive and singing. Without this tiny genome, Dr. Lumen adds, the machinery of life would slow to a halt. In this moment, you realize, you are connected to every mother who came before. You carry a spark from a lineage as old as humanity. A flame passed from hand to hand across the centuries, nestled now in the quiet machinery of your cells. We drift through a landscape of shimmering light, millions of mitochondria gently glowing within your muscles, your brain, your heart. Each one holds a tiny ring of DNA, looping forever, a sacred inheritance from the women of your past. It is humbling. And beautiful. And deeply peaceful. Sleep now, Dr. Lumen whispers. And feel the ancient rhythm within you. You are powered by memory, by legacy, by the eternal kindness of life that keeps giving. You settle deeper into your pillow, wrapped in the gentle warmth of your inner light, and sleep carries you away, soft and sure, on a river of ancestral energy. The mighty mitochondrial membrane. The night deepens, and your breath becomes slower, softer, each inhale a gentle wave, each exhale a calm retreat. Dr. Lumen's voice returns like a hush of wind through pine trees. Tonight, she murmurs, we glide across the delicate, powerful boundary that keeps the world of the mitochondria safe and structured, the mitochondrial membrane. We drift now to a cell, floating in its watery realm. Inside, the mitochondria shimmer like glowing lanterns. We enter one, and immediately find ourselves surrounded by two membranes, an outer and an inner, like two cozy blankets wrapped around the organelle's heart. Dr. Lumen smiles gently. The outer membrane is smooth, like the surface of a calm lake. It lets in molecules and sends out signals when the cell needs help or repair. But then, she draws us inward, and the inner membrane reveals its secret. It's here, she says, where the magic truly happens. The inner membrane isn't smooth, it's folded again and again into crispy, tiny ridges like a beautifully folded accordion. These folds aren't random. They create vast surface area in a small space, like cramming entire mountains into a single seashell. The folds, she explains, hold the keys to your energy. They're lined with proteins and enzymes, all arranged in perfect harmony. She points to a magnificent structure nestled in the folds, the electron transport chain, a series of protein complexes like stepping stones in a stream. These are the architects of energy transformation. We watch electrons move like glowing fireflies along this path, jumping from one complex to another. Each jump releases a spark. That spark is used to pump protons, tiny particles, across the membrane. There's a build-up, she says, like water behind a dam. And finally, at the top of this molecular dam, sits the majestic enzyme, ATP synthase, the molecular turbine. The pressure of all those protons surging through the membrane spins the ATP synthase. Round and round it turns, and with each turn, it makes ATP, pure energy currency. It's like spinning gold from air, Dr. Lumen whispers. She pauses as we watch the peaceful whir of this microscopic engine, glowing softly in the membrane. The mitochondria don't just store power. They create it, minute by minute, hour by hour. You begin to feel the gentle hum of your own mitochondria. In your chest. In your legs. In your fingers. Quiet turbines spinning just below your awareness, all because of these folded membranes, this wondrous design. Let your body rest in this truth, she murmurs. Even as you sleep, you are alight with energy. Folded within you is brilliance, soft, steady, and eternal. With that, the gentle rhythm of your breathing deepens. The membrane holds its form. The folds continue their work. And sleep wraps you like a second skin, smooth, silent, and full of life. ATP, the energy currency of life. As the night grows quieter and your body becomes heavier, imagine yourself shrinking once again, tiny as a whisper of a breath, as soft as moonlight sliding through a curtain. Dr. Lumen's voice returns, gentle, rhythmic, like footsteps padding through a dream. Now that we've explored the folded membranes of the mitochondria, she says, it's time to follow the treasure it creates, ADP, or adenosine triphosphate, the molecule that powers everything you do. You float inside a living cell, surrounded by molecules humming and drifting. Nearby, mitochondria pulse like warm lanterns, spinning out ATP with every quiet revolution of ATP synthase. ATP, Dr. Lumen continues, is like a tiny battery, a molecule packed with energy, just waiting to be used. She shows you a shimmering structure, 3 phosphate groups linked together at the end of a molecular chain. They don't like being this close, she says with a smile. They're like siblings squished in the back seat of a car, full of tension. That tension is the secret. The outermost phosphate holds energy like a coiled spring. When it breaks away, it releases a spark of power that cells use to move, grow, divide, and repair. We follow one glowing ATP molecule as it travels out of the mitochondria. It zips through the cell's watery interior, racing toward its next task. First, it powers a protein motor that helps a nerve cell fire. Then, it slips into a muscle fiber, helping the muscle contract ever so slightly, like the flutter of an eyelash. Finally, it fuels the repair of a tiny tear in a cell membrane, healing, patching, restoring. Dr. Lumen whispers, every blink of your eyes, every heartbeat, every memory, begins with this tiny spark. You float through this dream of invisible movement, ATP buzzing gently in the background of every living thing. Even now, as your body lies at rest, your cells hum with this quiet energy. It's a beautiful paradox, she says softly. To sleep deeply, your body must work continuously. And ATP, crafted in the silent folds of mitochondria, makes it all possible. You sense a warmth within. A low hum. The power of life flowing like a river just beneath the still surface of sleep. Let it cradle you. Let it steady your breath. And as ATP continues its graceful ballet in the depths of your body, you slip deeper into tranquility, knowing that the most powerful engines are the ones you never hear. The mitochondrial network, a city of light. Let your body settle even more, like a leaf floating on still water. With each breath, imagine yourself drifting inward. Past skin and muscle, through the warmth of your organs, into the glowing center of a cell. You find yourself in a peaceful twilight world, where each cell is like a glowing city, and the mitochondria are its bustling power stations. But tonight, you learn something new. Dr. Lumen's voice echoes softly in the stillness. Mitochondria aren't just isolated powerhouses. They're part of a living, changing network, a web of energy, shaped by need and connection. You look around and see not just one, but many mitochondria, glowing like lanterns strung through the dark. They drift close to each other, touching, fusing, and sharing their contents. This is called mitochondrial fusion, Dr. Lumen explains. When 2 mitochondria merge, they exchange information, support each other, and share resources, just like friends helping one another in times of need. Some mitochondria pull apart again in gentle fission, splitting to grow or to isolate damaged parts. It's not chaos, it's balance. A slow dance of togetherness and separation, keeping the cell healthy and strong. And through this dance, they form a web, a mitochondrial network. This network acts like a nervous system inside the cell, she says. It senses where energy is needed and responds. It adjusts, adapts, and protects. As you drift through this luminous city, you notice that the mitochondria gather near places of greatest need, muscles when you move, neurons when you think, the heart as it beats through the night. They follow invisible signals, like fireflies drawn to warmth. Dr. Lumen whispers, even in your sleep, your cells are thinking. Not with thoughts, but with movement, connection, adaptation. And the mitochondria listen. They form bridges. They restore order. They reach out to one another in quiet harmony. You watch them glow, fuse, and flow, an entire inner world, lit from within. Your breath deepens. Your limbs feel heavier. But your mind feels held in something timeless, something wise. The mitochondrial network is older than trees, older than animals, rooted in the deep history of life. And still, it pulses inside you. Quietly keeping balance. Quietly keeping you whole. Let yourself rest inside this living light. Let it hum you into sleep. Because even while you dream, the network glows on, fusing, shifting, healing. Just beneath the surface of your dreams. Energy currency, the quiet work of ATP. As your body settles even further, you feel yourself floating into a realm so small, it hums with the very rhythm of life. Dr. Lumen's voice returns, calm and warm, like a candle flickering in a quiet room. Tonight, she says, we follow the soft glow of transformation. The story of how your mitochondria take food and air, and turn it into life. You drift closer to a mitochondrion, like a glowing capsule in a sea of softness. Inside, you see something miraculous happening, a quiet, pulsing exchange of energy. The food you eat, glucose, fats, proteins. It's full of potential, Dr. Lumen whispers. But potential isn't power, not yet. Mitochondria change it into something your body understands. Something it can spend. This something is ATP, adenosine triphosphate. You watch as it forms, tiny shimmering packets, like glowing coins of energy. ATP, she explains, is your body's currency of energy. It fuels everything. Your thoughts. Your breath. The beat of your heart. Within the folds of the mitochondrian's inner membrane, you witness a beautiful flow, electrons moving down a delicate chain, each one releasing a tiny spark. These sparks are caught and woven into ATP, over and over again. It's not loud, not chaotic. It's rhythmic. Peaceful. Like waves pulling back from the shore. Each mitochondrion makes billions of these ATP molecules every day, Dr. Lumen says. And they do it without complaint. Without noise. Just steady, silent creation. You drift through this space, watching the ATP molecules move outward. Ready to power a heartbeat, a muscle, or even a dream. There's something gentle about it, she continues. To think that every moment you're alive, this soft engine is running within you. Always giving. Never asking. As the scene fades into a mist of shimmering light, you carry with you a new awareness, not just of energy, but of kindness. Of how life sustains itself through quiet acts of giving. Your chest rises and falls in slow, relaxed waves. Your body feels warm and held. The mitochondria within you are still working, calmly turning the food of the day into strength for tomorrow. They do it as you rest. They do it as you sleep. And now, you let go a little more, trusting that within, everything continues to flow. The dance of the electron transport chain. As the world outside grows quieter, your inner universe comes alive with microscopic wonder. Dr. Lumen's voice arrives like a soft current, guiding you deeper into the serene stillness of your resting mind. Now that we've met ATP, she says gently, let's wander a little deeper, into the very heart of how it's made. You find yourself drifting back into the glowing chambers of the mitochondrion. This time, you follow the threads of energy, strings of electrons moving gracefully across the inner membrane. This, she whispers, is the electron transport chain, not a chain made of metal links, but of delicate proteins and enzymes. A relay race of tiny charges, passing energy from one molecule to the next. The mitochondrion's inner membrane folds in on itself like waves upon waves of silk. Along this rippling surface, the proteins sit like lanterns along a tranquil garden path. Each one glows faintly as it receives an electron. and then passes it along. You watch the electrons dance, never resting, always moving, guided by the invisible hand of physics and biology in perfect harmony. Dr. Lumen continues, her voice like warm honey, these electrons come from the food you've eaten. From the air you breathe. It's all transformed here, into a flow of energy that moves with grace. As electrons travel the chain, protons are gently moved, one by one, to the other side of the membrane, like raindrops collecting in a quiet pool. These protons, she explains, create something magical, a gradient. A soft tension, a buildup of potential energy, like water held behind a dam, waiting to be released. Then, you see it, a structure shaped like a spinning wheel. Dr. Lumen smiles, almost as if you can hear it in her tone. This, she says, is ATP synthase. The enzyme that spins and sings. The protons begin to rush back through ATP synthase, and the wheel gently turns. With each turn, a new ATP molecule is formed. One, then another, then another. The process is seamless. Beautiful. It's the soundless heartbeat of your cellular engine. No sparks. No noise. Just the soft revolution of energy becoming life, Dr. Lumen whispers. Around you, the dance continues. The electron transport chain glows like a thread of stars across a velvet sky. And beneath it, you feel your own breath slow, deep and effortless. As sleep wraps around you like a warm blanket, you carry the piece of this inner dance with you, a reminder that within every cell, a ballet is unfolding. Every second, your body is working not through force, but through harmony. Tonight, that harmony cradles you. And you rest, knowing the energy you'll need for tomorrow is already being woven, molecule by molecule, in the silence within. Oxygen's gentle embrace. The quiet of night deepens, and with it comes another gentle layer of understanding. Dr. Lumen's voice returns, a soft, steady whisper, like wind through tall grass. Tonight, she says, we turn our gaze to a familiar friend, oxygen. You drift, once again, into the heart of the mitochondrion, the inner membrane still glowing, still alive with tiny movements of energy. This time, you're drawn to the final step of the electron transport chain. After electrons dance their way along the chain, Dr. Lumen explains, they must go somewhere. That somewhere is oxygen, the very air you breathe, now resting in the most sacred corners of your cells. You see it then, tiny oxygen molecules waiting at the end of the chain. They seem patient, calm, even maternal in their stillness. As the electrons arrive, the oxygen gently receives them. And in that quiet moment, something beautiful happens. With the help of hydrogen ions, she says, oxygen becomes something new, water. A drop of life formed from breath and energy. And there it is, molecular water being born inside your cells. Not poured from a glass, not drawn from a stream, but created in silence, deep inside you. A soft shimmer floats in the air around it. This process, Dr. Lumen continues, is the reason we breathe. Not just to fill our lungs, but to fuel this ancient, delicate dance. Without oxygen, the entire chain would stall. You imagine a world without breath, a world paused, suspended, and then return gratefully to the softness of now, where air flows in and out of your chest, carrying life to every corner of your being. Each breath you take, she says, is a message sent to the smallest parts of you, you are alive. You are cared for. You have what you need. It's more than science, it's connection. You are one with the sky, the trees, the ocean. You inhale what they exhale. You exhale what they need. A perfect, ancient balance. As you lie still, you imagine oxygen's path from the cool night air, through your lungs, into your blood, and finally, into your mitochondria. There, it waits at the end of the chain, arms open, ready to complete the dance. Outside, a breeze passes by your window. Inside, oxygen finishes its work. And your body, supported by unseen miracles, drifts further into peace. You smile, just a little, as you settle deeper into your pillow. Tonight, you understand the quiet magic behind every breath. And as sleep surrounds you, so too does oxygen, gently, silently, holding you in its timeless embrace. The water within and the flow of energy. As you float deeper into this cozy evening, you feel as though your body has become part of something larger, something ancient and wise. Dr. Lumen's voice returns like a candle being lit in the dark, warm and familiar. Now that we've met oxygen, she whispers, let's linger for a moment on what it creates, water. Inside your mitochondria, the electrons have completed their journey. With oxygen and hydrogen ions, they form molecules of water. You watch it happen, not loud, not dramatic. Just quietly transformative. This water, she says, isn't the same as the ocean or the rain that taps your window. This is molecular water, formed within you, a delicate byproduct of energy. The water molecules shimmer like tiny glass droplets, and you imagine them drifting outward from the mitochondria, spreading peace throughout your cells. These droplets carry away the tension, Dr. Lumen continues, keeping the internal world gentle, balanced, and calm. You follow the water as it travels, helping to cool areas that have worked hard, cleansing spaces, supporting life in 100 unseen ways. You hadn't realized until now just how nurturing your body can be to itself. And with this release of water, she says softly, your cells now hold something priceless, ATP. The tiny molecules of ATP, the cell's energy currency, float like glowing fireflies. You watch them pulse with potential, tiny vessels of strength, waiting to be used. They'll be sent out to fuel the smallest actions, Dr. Lumen says, a twitch of your finger, a beat of your heart, the blink of your eyes. Or simply the steady rhythm of your breath as you drift into sleep. One ATP molecule moves toward a muscle cell, maybe near your shoulder. Another toward a neuron, carrying a message of peace. You feel each delivery like a warm breeze brushing over you. You begin to notice just how perfectly all of this works, not by chance, but by design. The water formed is not waste, but renewal. The ATP created is not just power, but peace. This is the flow of energy, she says. A circle of movement and rest. Breath and stillness. Fuel and fulfillment. You feel your chest rise and fall slowly, in harmony with this inner rhythm. Somewhere in your body, mitochondria continue their quiet work, accepting glucose and oxygen, releasing water and energy. A gentle, endless loop. Outside, the night sky deepens to velvet. Inside, your body feels just as vast and quiet. You are a constellation of tiny lights, all working together to bring you rest. Dr. Lumen's voice grows softer now. You are energy. You are balance. You are safe. And as your body sinks deeper into stillness, the water within you flows, the ATP pulses gently, and you float in the sweet peace of knowing everything is working, exactly as it should. Mitochondria and the whisper of memory. In the still quiet of sleep's embrace, you begin to float again, light as a feather, warm as a blanket just pulled fresh from the dryer. Dr. Lumen's voice is a gentle whisper now, like wind weaving through the trees. Tonight, she says, we're going deeper still, to a secret mitochondria keep tucked inside their spiraled folds, memory. You blink, curious. What does memory have to do with mitochondria? Mitochondria aren't just your body's power plants, she explains. They carry their own tiny strands of DNA. And in that DNA, is a story, your story, and the stories of all who came before. As your breathing softens and your limbs grow heavier, you imagine yourself drifting downward, into a single cell, into the heart of a mitochondrion. There, glowing softly in its matrix, is a delicate spiral of DNA, looping and swirling like a golden thread in the dark. This strand, Dr. Lumen says gently, came from your mother, and her mother before her, and hers before that. All the way back. You feel it now, a connection stretching across centuries, lifetimes, thousands of miles. Women carrying light within them, passing it down. Not in torches or lanterns, but in tiny engines of energy and life. It's called maternal inheritance, she continues. And every human who ever lived has had these tiny powerhouses passed to them from a long line of ancestors. You see them now, each one a silhouette standing in a quiet field of stars, whispering, humming, moving slowly, gently, through time. Their eyes meet yours not with urgency, but with peace. They whisper to us, she says, not in words, but in energy. In breath. In the steady work of the mitochondria they gifted us. You imagine all your cells glowing, each one like a tiny lantern lit by history, by lineage, by love. And this memory, Dr. Lumen continues, is not just biological, it's emotional. For mitochondria are also deeply tied to how we feel, how we respond to stress, how we move through the world. A breeze flows through your inner world now, and you watch as the mitochondria shimmer in response, some glowing brighter when your heart softens, some dimming gently as you let go of old burdens. Some scientists believe, she adds softly, that the balance of energy in your cells affects your resilience, your clarity, even your dreams. You close your eyes for a moment and feel it, not a thought, but a knowing. That something ancient and kind lives within you. That rest is not a pause from life, it is the place where life quietly repairs and remembers. The air around you is thick with calm now. Each breath draws in softness, and releases tension. You feel the past settling around you like a woven quilt, stitched from generations of starlight and warmth. Dr. Lumen speaks one last time tonight, and her voice is softer than ever. You are made of stories and energy. You are shaped by stars and memory. You are held, even when asleep. And with that, your inner world dims to a warm twilight. The mitochondria hum quietly. The DNA rests in its spiral. And so do you. Energy in motion, the cell's balancing act. As your body drifts deeper into slumber, a gentle current carries you into the quiet hum of a sleeping laboratory. Shelves lined with glowing flasks, walls buzzing with soft instruments, and in the center, your guide, Dr. Lumen, waiting with her familiar warm smile. Tonight, she begins, we're going to visit the balance beam inside every cell. Mitochondria, as we've seen, give you energy. But they also manage how much, how fast, and how safe that energy release is. Your breath slows as you picture a beam of light stretching through your body, perfectly balanced. At one end, energy production. At the other, cellular safety. It's called homeostasis, Dr. Lumen continues. The art of balance. A dance between making energy and preventing damage. Because when mitochondria work too fast, they can create sparks, molecules called free radicals. She leads you deeper into the microscopic world again, where shimmering mitochondria pulse like little suns. You see tiny bursts of light inside them, beautiful but chaotic. Free radicals, she says gently, are like sparks flying off a campfire. A few are harmless. But too many, and things can get overheated. That's why mitochondria are also equipped with guardians, antioxidants. You watch as luminous, jellyfish-like molecules drift in and out of the mitochondria, calming the sparks, cooling the system, keeping the energy just right. This constant adjustment is the cell's quiet masterpiece. Even in your sleep, she adds, this balancing act continues. Mitochondria slow their work, conserve energy, and allow your body to repair and renew. A glowing tide now surrounds you, cells gently pulsing, like waves lapping against the shore. You feel how everything within you is working in harmony, even when you are still. Your body, Dr. Lumen says softly, knows how to balance. Just as night follows day, calm follows activity. You see now how your breath, your heartbeat, even your thoughts, all fall into rhythm. A natural flow. A mitochondria-guided lullaby. As Dr. Lumen walks ahead, you follow, floating weightlessly through a glowing corridor lined with living cells, each one adjusting its energy, finding perfect balance, and humming with peace. She stops by a cell resting in the cool blue of sleep. Its mitochondria barely glowing, in deep, meditative stillness. This, she whispers, is where repair happens. Where restoration begins. It's not just rest, it's recalibration. The light around you dims to a warm, amber hue. You feel your own balance returning. Your cells humming like a gentle choir. And deep within your core, you sense a steadiness that wasn't there before. Let go, Dr. Lumen says one last time. Let balance be your breath. Let rest be your rhythm. And as your consciousness dissolves into that rhythm, the night wraps around you, quiet, powerful, and perfectly poised. Cellular repair, healing while you sleep. The room around you fades into a gentle twilight, where the air feels thick with comfort and stillness. The world of dreams invites you once more into the microscopic sanctuary within yourself, a realm of healing, light, and rest. You find yourself standing in a vast forest of softly glowing trees. But as you step closer, you realize, they're not trees at all. They're cells, says Dr. Lumen, stepping beside you again with a peaceful nod. Each one alive with purpose. And tonight, we'll witness one of their most sacred processes. Repair. She motions ahead, and you glide between the towering cellular structures. Inside each one, mitochondria pulse softly, slower now, calmer than before. At night, when you sleep, she says, the body shifts into a healing mode. Mitochondria reduce their energy output, and the cell begins to sweep up damage from the day. You follow her through a glowing tunnel, where light particles swirl like fireflies. This, she explains, is autophagy. The cell's way of cleaning house. You watch as old, worn-out proteins are gently tucked away, recycled by glowing vesicles that drift like slow-moving bubbles. It's how your body stays young, Dr. Lumen whispers. How it keeps itself whole. In one cell, you see the mitochondria themselves undergoing change. Some appear broken or faded. Even mitochondria need repair, she says. Some are replaced. Others are fused together, stronger, better. She shows you a miraculous dance where two tiny mitochondria touch, twist, and merge, creating a newer, more efficient powerhouse. This process is called mitochondrial fusion, she says. It's like mending a broken circuit, so the energy can keep flowing strong. The deeper you go, the quieter it becomes. You enter a chamber glowing in shades of blue and silver, cells completely at rest. These cells are in their deepest healing state, she says, voice hushed in reverence. Guided by sleep hormones like melatonin, every system slows, and the night work begins. You sit for a moment, watching as the cell glows brighter with each repaired part. Its mitochondria, like tiny lanterns, shine with renewed energy. There is a wisdom here, Dr. Lumen continues. A rhythm to your body's healing, powered in part by these humble mitochondria. Quiet. Invisible. Constantly rebuilding. Above you, the cellular ceiling sparkles like a sky full of stars, each point a moment of healing taking place across your entire body. She reaches out a hand, inviting you to lie down on a bed of soft molecular strands, gently swaying with your breath. You don't have to do anything, she says softly. Just allow. The repair will happen. The healing is already underway. You close your eyes, and with each breath, feel the tiny workers of your body continuing their nightly ritual, sweeping, restoring, renewing. Mitochondria whisper like wind through trees. Cells sigh in satisfaction. And every fiber of your being floats deeper into a serene and cellular calm. The genetic blueprint, mitochondrial DNA. In the silent chamber of dreams, where thoughts float gently and stillness reigns, your journey continues, this time, into the very code that powers your tiny inner universe. Dr. Lumen appears once more in the moon glow of your imagination. She holds something luminous between her palms, spiraling softly like a strand of silk made from starlight. This, she whispers, is mitochondrial DNA. A thread of memory and instruction, passed from mother to child, unchanged across centuries. She hands the strand to you. It pulses with a light all its own, ancient and full of story. You follow her down a winding path inside a glowing mitochondrion, where walls of light ripple like gentle waves. Unlike the DNA in your cell's nucleus, this special strand lives here, inside the mitochondria themselves. Compact. Independent. Unique. Each mitochondrion, Dr. Lumen explains, has its own tiny ring of DNA. It's like a cookbook with just a few recipes, just enough to keep the engine running. You see tiny glowing proteins, floating in formation like dancers in a sacred ritual, guided by the instructions written in this ancient code. This DNA carries the instructions for making key parts of the electron transport chain, she continues, pointing to the shimmering conveyor belts of energy you saw in earlier dreams. These blueprints tell the mitochondria how to build their own tools for producing life's energy. As you float deeper into the mitochondrion, you see delicate copying machines, enzymes, unwinding the mitochondrial DNA, making exact replicas. You watch in awe as glowing strands are paired, replicated, and restored. This self-replication, Dr. Lumen says, allows mitochondria to divide and multiply when the cell needs more energy. It's how your cells adapt. Suddenly, you see a light flicker across many mitochondria at once. A coordinated signal passes through them like a song, a symphony of cellular memory. Mitochondrial DNA also holds a record of your ancestry, she tells you. Passed down only from mothers, it tells the tale of your maternal line, all the way back to ancient times. You pause, imagining the quiet strength of generations, each one whispering instructions from cell to cell. The mitochondria in your body, millions of them, carrying fragments of a story older than civilization. As you breathe in, the luminous DNA shimmers brighter. Each breath feeds the process of copying, restoring, passing on life's energy language. Dr. Lumen smiles. This is the power of inheritance, the mystery of energy, and the quiet miracle that every single one of your cells knows exactly what to do. She invites you to rest beneath a canopy of DNA strands woven like dream catchers above. As you lie down, the threads sway slowly, like stars drifting in the current of your breath. Tonight, she says, her voice a lullaby, as you sleep, your body remembers how to be whole. Because deep inside, at the smallest level, your cells are already singing the song of life. You close your eyes, letting the melody of ancient instructions carry you deeper, deeper, into a place where memory and healing meet. The mitochondria pulse like gentle stars, and the quiet blueprint within you continues its sacred work in peace. Cellular communication, how mitochondria talk. As the dream deepens, your breath settles into a slow, peaceful rhythm, steady like ocean waves under a starlit sky. You find yourself once again in the gentle, glowing world inside the body, walking softly beside Dr. Lumen. Tonight, she smiles warmly and invites you to listen, not with your ears, but with your mind. You may not hear them, she says, but your cells are always talking. And the mitochondria, they're some of the busiest messengers of all. She gestures, and suddenly the air fills with light, soft pulses, like fireflies flickering in patterns across a forest. These flashes, she says, are chemical signals, tiny conversations passing between mitochondria and other parts of the cell. You pause, mesmerized by the rhythm of the glow. Some pulses move quickly, others gently shimmer, dancing between the cell nucleus, the endoplasmic reticulum, and the plasma membrane. The whole space around you feels like a peaceful constellation, twinkling in conversation. Mitochondria send and receive messages using molecules like ATP, calcium, and reactive oxygen species, Dr. Lumen explains. With a sweep of her hand, she brings you into the center of a communication hub. Here, mitochondria gently bump into other organelles, sharing whispers of molecular messages. A calcium ion glows as it passes from the mitochondrion to the nucleus, a note passed quietly in the dark. These signals can change how the cell behaves, she continues. They tell it when to grow, when to rest, when to repair, and even, when to end. You look over at her. End? Yes, she says gently. Sometimes, mitochondria help guide the cell into a peaceful end, a process called apoptosis, or programmed cell death. It's like helping a tree drop its leaves in the fall. A graceful goodbye to make room for new growth. You watch a gentle unfolding. A cell slowly closing its story with dignity, the mitochondria pulsing in harmony with the fading light. It's not sad. It's peaceful. Like a candle quietly going out after warming a room. Dr. Lumen walks with you through another passage of light, where you see mitochondria working together, not alone, but in networks. They touch, fuse, and divide in a slow and thoughtful choreography. When mitochondria join together, it's called fusion, she says. They share what they know, proteins, genes, strength. And when one is damaged, they split apart to isolate it and protect the others. That's fission. Fusion. Fission. Talking. Healing. Coordinating. Your body is not just a collection of parts. It's a community. And the mitochondria? They're some of its wisest elders, always keeping the conversation going. As you drift deeper into this molecular symphony, the space around you dims into a velvet twilight. You lie back in a bed made of light and calm signals, feeling your own cells speaking in a quiet, ancient language. Every breath you take, a message. Every beat of your heart, a reply. Every peaceful thought, a gift to your cells. Dr. Lumen places a hand on your shoulder. Even in your sleep, she whispers, your body listens. It knows. It remembers how to heal. You are never alone inside. The soft communication continues around you, like a lullaby of light, and you drift off, safe in the knowledge that even in silence, you are deeply, lovingly connected. Mitochondria and the heart, a love story in every beat. You find yourself floating gently, weightless in a space that glows with pulsing red light. The sound of a heartbeat fills the air, slow, rhythmic, strong. Ba-dum. Ba-dum. Dr. Lumen stands beside you, dressed in soft red hues, her voice warm and kind. Tonight, she whispers, we visit the heart, the most hard-working organ in the body. And there's someone very special behind every beat, the mitochondria. She gestures, and you're transported into a vast, flowing world. It looks like an endless canyon carved by rushing rivers, except the walls are made of muscle fibers, and everything pulses with life. The heart never stops, Dr. Lumen explains. Even while you sleep, it beats. And to do that, it needs constant energy. That's where mitochondria come in. She lifts her hand, and a golden glow emerges from the heart cells, hundreds of thousands of glowing orbs. These are the mitochondria of the heart. There are more here than almost anywhere else in the body. They're the tireless partners of your heart muscle, she says. Always ready. Always working. They give the heart the power to squeeze, release, and push blood through your entire body. You reach out toward one of the glowing mitochondria. It's warm and full of gentle motion, like a tiny sun. You hear a soft hum, its song of energy. And the amazing thing, Dr. Lumen continues, is how closely they respond to your needs. When you rest, they work quietly. When you run or dance or climb, they rise to the challenge, making more energy instantly. She guides you deeper into the heart, where the cells contract and relax in perfect harmony. Mitochondria pulse between them, weaving through like glowing threads, connecting everything. They even talk to each other, she says. Like a symphony of light, responding in real time to every signal from your brain, lungs, and muscles. As you move through this magical heart space, you notice something else: repair. In quiet corners of the heart, cells are healing. Mitochondria gather near tiny injuries and release signals to begin repair. They carry antioxidants, calm inflammation, and call for help when needed. They don't just power the heart, Dr. Lumen says softly. They protect it. They love it. You float now on your back, gently rocked by the rhythm of the heartbeat. Ba-dum. Ba-dum. Each beat sends a wave of peace through your body. The mitochondria are here for every emotion you've ever felt, she says. They rise with joy, steady in fear, and soften in grief. They're woven into the poetry of your heart. As the chamber dims into night, the glowing mitochondria flicker like candlelight, soft and steady. You close your eyes, feeling your own heart beat in your chest. Somewhere deep inside, thousands of tiny powerhouses are hard at work, quiet, loyal, and full of love. They've been with you from your very first heartbeat. And they'll be with you through every heartbeat still to come. Mitochondria and the breath of life, energy in every inhale. A soft breeze stirs the air around you. You find yourself high on a mountaintop, peaceful, serene. Clouds float below you, and the sky is painted with shades of dawn. Dr. Lumen is beside you again, wrapped in a shawl that dances in the wind. Her eyes shine kindly. Tonight, she begins, we follow the breath. You breathe in slowly. The air here is crisp and cool. It fills your lungs like a gentle wave. And as you exhale, the air leaves you warm, calm, and grounded. All life begins with breath, Dr. Lumen says, her voice soft. But few realize the secret connection between your breathing and your mitochondria. She reaches out, and the world transforms. You now float inside your lungs, an ethereal landscape of branching tunnels and soft, pink air sacs called alveoli. They resemble flowering trees in an endless garden. This is where oxygen enters your body, she whispers. But it's not the end of the story. It's just the beginning. As you watch, tiny silver sparks drift from the air into the bloodstream, oxygen molecules, traveling swiftly. Dr. Lumen guides you inside a red blood cell, and soon, you ride the oxygen molecules like shimmering fireflies on a flowing river. They wind through your arteries, moving toward the cells, toward the waiting mitochondria. This, she explains, is the final destination. Mitochondria take in oxygen. And in return, they create energy. You arrive at a glowing city of mitochondria, all pulsing with light and warmth. The oxygen you carried is welcomed like an honored guest. In an instant, the mitochondria begin their dance. The oxygen combines with nutrients, glucose and fatty acids, within these powerhouses. This sacred process is called cellular respiration. Inside each mitochondrion, she says, oxygen helps generate ATP, the molecule your body uses for energy. The world around you bursts with soft light as the ATP molecules are born, tiny stars floating out from the mitochondria into the cell. These little packets of energy travel everywhere, Dr. Lumen explains. They power your brain, your muscles, your thoughts, even your dreams. You float now in stillness, watching the gentle breath of the body, the inhale, the exhale, and how every breath is an offering to the mitochondria. They are your silent partners in every breath, she says. They turn air into vitality. Then she gestures once more. Suddenly you're underwater, deep in the ocean. You see a coral reef alive with movement and color. Fish glide gracefully between sunbeams. All life, human, animal, plant, relies on mitochondria and oxygen. The cycle is everywhere. Even sea creatures breathe in their way. And even their cells are filled with mitochondria, taking in oxygen and releasing energy. Above, you watch green algae sway with the currents, producing the very oxygen you breathe. It's a beautiful circle. Air becomes energy. Energy becomes motion. Motion becomes life. You lie back in the current now, floating in the quiet water. Your breath slows. Your heart settles. Each inhale feeds your cells. Each exhale lets go of what no longer serves. And deep within, your mitochondria glow, grateful for your breath. Energy in every step, mitochondria in motion. Imagine soft earth beneath your feet, warm from the sun. You're walking through a meadow filled with tall grass and glowing fireflies. A gentle path unfolds before you, winding between whispering trees. The sky above is dusk, lavender, gold, and deepening blue. Each step is slow, intentional, effortless. Beside you walks Dr. Lumen. Her voice is as calming as the wind, and tonight, she smiles wider than usual. We've breathed with the mitochondria. Now, let's move with them. You continue along the trail, and every time your foot lifts, you sense something deeper. A quiet ripple of power. Movement, she says, is energy in action. And every motion, every blink, every heartbeat, every step, is powered by your mitochondria. The world around you begins to shift. With each step, you descend inward, past skin, muscle, and bone, until you are standing inside a single muscle cell. It's a galaxy of glowing threads and pulsing fibers. Your mitochondria are scattered throughout, like tiny lanterns suspended in a cosmic web. They're everywhere in muscle, Dr. Lumen whispers. Because movement demands power. You watch as ATP, the energy molecule made by mitochondria, sparks like stars. It flows through long filaments, called actin and myosin, that slide together to make the muscle contract. With every beat of your heart, every stretch of your arm, every blink of your eye, mitochondria are hard at work. And they do it without fanfare. They work quietly, constantly. You see a glowing stream of ATP flowing to nerves, carrying signals. Another stream goes to your feet, helping them step gracefully. Even now, this peaceful walk through a dreamlike forest is powered by these silent engines of the cell. As you walk deeper into the woods, you see animals moving gracefully through the trees. A deer leaps over a stream, its legs powered by mitochondria. A bird flits through the air, wings buzzing with cellular energy. Even the insects crawling underfoot are fueled by the same process. Mitochondria are universal. Across all life. You pause and rest on a mossy stone. Dr. Lumen sits beside you and closes her eyes. When you walk slowly, you activate your mitochondria gently. They respond. They adapt. And they become more resilient. You listen. To your heartbeat. To the whisper of leaves. To the steady rhythm of life inside you. And suddenly you're aware of how your mitochondria change based on what you need. When you sleep, they rest. When you move, they multiply and strengthen. When you're under stress, they rally to protect. And when you're calm, like now, they glow. You rise and continue walking. You feel warmth at your core, not just from the evening air, but from the energy flowing through your cells. It's not a sprint. Not a race. Just a quiet journey of balance. As the sky above deepens into star-speckled indigo, Dr. Lumen whispers, in every step, your mitochondria walk with you. You breathe slowly, your steps light, your body at ease. And your energy, born deep within the cell, carries you forward. Toward rest. Toward peace. Toward home. The healing within, mitochondria and repair. You are lying on a soft bed of grass beneath a willow tree. The air is still, warm, and scented with something sweet, like blooming jasmine. The branches above sway slowly, casting dancing shadows over your skin. You hear a nearby stream trickling, a rhythm so gentle it feels like a lullaby. Dr. Lumen is beside you, her voice soft and comforting. Tonight, we listen, she says. Not to the world outside, but to the body's quiet healing. You let your eyes drift shut. Inside you, a different world begins to glow. A world of molecules and motion, silent and purposeful. Your body, always working, always mending. Dr. Lumen continues, every day, your cells experience tiny injuries, damage from sunlight, from exercise, from stress, even from time itself. You drift deeper into the story. In your mind's eye, you see a single cell. At its center, your mitochondria shine. Tiny but mighty, they pulse with light, like candles on a calm sea. They are not only your power source, she explains. They are your protectors. You watch as a mitochondrion senses a signal, one of stress, of injury. Its membrane quivers. Then, like a master conductor, it begins to coordinate. Inside your cell, the mitochondria reach out to neighboring structures, sending signals, releasing proteins, guiding repair. Damaged DNA? Mitochondria help decide what to fix and what to recycle. Tired cells? Mitochondria can help them rest, or gracefully retire to make room for new growth. You float deeper into this cellular ballet. Proteins swirl, nutrients flow, and signals pass like whispered messages through the cell. Even now, while you rest, this healing continues. Dr. Lumen speaks softly, your mitochondria are sensors of your stress, and stewards of your renewal. They rebuild, not with haste, but with care. You imagine yourself in a forest clearing once again. All around, new shoots push through the soil. Green and alive. Your body, like this forest, she says, is a place of growth, of cycles. And your mitochondria are its gentle caretakers. They help your muscles recover after movement. They calm your nerves after anxiety. They soothe the skin after sun. They restore balance after chaos. You see flashes of blue and gold within your cell, a sign of new mitochondria being made. This process, mitochondrial biogenesis, is your body's way of growing resilience. More strength. More energy. More light. Dr. Lumen places a hand on your shoulder. You are always healing, she says. Even now. Especially now. The willow leaves flutter gently in the breeze. The stars begin to peek through the branches above, as night settles deeper. With each breath, your body grows lighter. With each moment, your cells work quietly, repairing, rebuilding, renewing. And your mitochondria, those ancient energy makers, remain steady in their quiet devotion. You are held. You are healing. And the power within you, tiny, glowing, and endlessly kind, is at work. Tomorrow will come with new steps to take. But for now, you simply rest. Wrapped in warmth. Surrounded by quiet care. And deep in every cell, your mitochondria sing their silent lullaby. Eternal glow, the story of mitochondria across time. You are floating now. Weightless. Drifting slowly through a galaxy of glowing stars. But these stars aren't in space, they are within. Each one pulses softly, a tiny sun within a cell. A mitochondrion. Beside you, Dr. Lumen glides peacefully in her luminous lab coat. Her voice flows through the stillness. We've come so far, she says gently. Tonight, we finish our journey where it began, at the edge of time. Your thoughts dissolve into the stars. You go back, way back, billions of years. To a time when Earth was young, covered in oceans of bubbling gases and volcanic heat. The planet was restless, yet ready. Ready for the first sparks of life. Dr. Lumen whispers, that's where mitochondria come from. Long ago, they were free-living bacteria, ancient swimmers in Earth's earliest seas. You watch them, tiny, wriggling beings. Then something extraordinary happened. One of those early cells swallowed one of those tiny swimmers, but instead of destroying it, they made a deal. A partnership. You give me energy, the host said. And I'll give you shelter, replied the mitochondrion. And from that partnership, all complex life was born. Every plant, every animal, every human, began with that union. You and I, Dr. Lumen continues, we are here today because two microscopic ancestors chose cooperation over conflict. You drift closer to a cell glowing in warm amber light. You step inside. Mitochondria hum with calm purpose. Even now, billions of years later, they carry the same DNA from those ancient ancestors. A whisper of deep time inside every heartbeat. You watch them divide. Fuse. Adapt. They learn your needs. They power your thoughts. They fuel your dreams. And they remember. All of evolution, in every cell of your body. Dr. Lumen smiles as you float gently through a forest of mitochondria. They are your connection to all life on Earth. You begin to see them everywhere. In the leaf of a tree. In the wing of a bird. In the curl of a cat sleeping in sunlight. Tiny glowing threads, powering motion, thought, rest, and renewal. They are your spark, she says. Even when you sleep, the mitochondria keep glowing. A soft flame in the night. They breathe with you. They dream with you. They are with you, always. As you return gently to your place of rest, your cozy bed, warm and quiet, you feel it. A deep, inner light. It hums beneath your skin. It glows behind your eyelids. It whispers, you are alive, and full of light. Dr. Lumen gives one final smile. The story of mitochondria, she says, is your story too. A tale of resilience, connection, and light in the deepest places. You close your eyes. The night is still. And far below your thoughts, a soft glow continues, timeless and kind. Mitochondria, the power within, carry you forward, even now. You are safe. You are strong. And you are never alone. Let sleep find you now, wrapped in the hum of ancient light.